Hello everyone, we're playing the Artisan of Glimmith today, not a detective or mystery game, but a puzzle game nonetheless. This is actually made by the developers of one of my favorite puzzle games, Islands of Insight. Islands of Insight I probably have the most hours in of any puzzle game ever, really. It's brilliant, and maybe I'll show it off on the channel once, though I would not recommend people buy it. And the only reason why is just because the online functionality is now not in it. But if you don't mind not having online functionality, it's still a great game. Dear esteemed artisan, thank you for accepting my invitation to restore the artworks of Glimmith. On that point, I only have one request. When shaping each piece of glass, you must follow the rules very closely. I care only about the shapes. Let your creativity run free with the colors. Okay, I don't... Okay, so the shapes are both the same in these, but it's just the colors that are different. Okay. Progress is saved automatically. All regions must be in this shape. And we've got a 4x4. Okay. Click and drag to mid region. There we go. So we could do it like this, for example. That would be fine. Yeah, perfect. Alrighty. Got one over here. Right click and drag to erase. Right. So we need things in a 3x3 area. So like this, for example. That is perfectly fine. Tabs can be rotated. Okay, so this one's obvious, this one's obvious. Then we've got one down here, and one over here. Easy enough so far. We've not really encountered anything just too difficult, but if this is anything like Islands of Insights, there probably will be something that gets a little bit crazy in the future, so we're looking out for that, I guess. Again, I'm just doing the ones that seem obvious first. These ones and this one were obvious because they only had one way to go. They had to go out this way. So, same with these ones. They have to go out this way, but they can be rotated. But so we can do something like this, for example. And then this. Perfect. That was probably the first, like, real tough one. This one. Mirror reflections of shapes can also be used, so that's fine. And you kind of just like, when you get into a flow state, right, where everything kind of falls together once you've got one. Because like for this one, for example, you know, you have to go there. Then this one probably is like this, but then this corner, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yep, perfect. Then got this one, then this one, and then finally this one. And we didn't even use any middle borders. We could have, but we didn't. Oh, okay. So we can go across this Glimmith Bridge now that we've got 7, but we can also do these other 2. Dear Artisan, I hope this letter finds you in the best of spirits and creative fervor. There's much work to be done. These window frames show your restoration progress. Each glass that you restore contributes to a window. Complete windows to progress onwards. Yours truly, Elias Vidimus. Oh, okay, so Elias Vidimus must be our drag the camera to find secret puzzles. Ah, and there's one down here. All regions must be in this shape, so like a square with a missing bit, right? So we could do something like this, for example. That will be a square with a missing bit. But then this one cannot be a square with a missing bit, right? Because they'll be missing 2 bits. So what I think it is that... Oh, we can change the colors. We can also press right click as this, right? There we go. Perfect. Now I'm gonna just put in like little middle walls to remind myself, because I think these are both correct. So we've got this one then, and finally this one. There we go. Easy enough. There's also another secret puzzle around here. I wonder if there's any secret puzzles I've missed, perhaps. Oh, that's wrong immediately. Let me think about this one for 2 seconds. There we go. So we need something like this, perhaps? Yeah, there we go. Looking good, looking good. Okay, and then we've got all the puzzles. We haven't done this one yet, so let's quickly do that one. Another hidden puzzle. Oh. There we go. Well, we can no longer... This is all wrong. Before I do these, I should really think about it. So this one probably is like this. Yeah. This one's probably like this. This one's probably like this, and then finally that one's like that. Right. Okay. Yeah, so thinking about things makes sense, rather than just doing and seeing if that works. One of my big, like, personal sore spots with puzzle games, right, is that I'm bad at just like steamrolling ahead. Which colors quickly? Well, for me, colors don't matter. So this one is definitely, we know that this is true because this has to be a line. So this one probably has to be like that. We'll throw that one in. And this one has to be a line as well. There we go. So let's draw that one in. So this one will have to be an L. Also have to be an L. There we go. Alrighty. We got a couple of weird puzzles around this way. Use tab to switch to coloring, border drawing, and note taking. There's a note taking. Interesting. So these both have to be like lines, right? Apologies. And then another bad boy here. Let's click on this one. What's this one? Okay, so we know right now that this one has to be like this, right? But then that funks up that one. So now this one can't be, so it needs to be a 3. And this one needs to be like this, then this one needs to be like this. This one probably needs to be like that. There, and that. Perfect, alrighty. And border drawing mode. Prefer. I don't really like border drawing mode, so no. I would prefer not to. This one's either a 3 or a 4. So, okay. Well, we know for sure this one goes this way. Now we also know for sure this goes this way. We don't know whether it ends here or here, but we know that for sure. Now this one also has to. Now if this one ends here, then this is a region, yeah. Now this one either ends here or continues going one more. If it continues going one more though, then what's this line doing? Nothing. So this one closes off here. Then this is all purple. We've got this one needs to come out. Oh, not that entirely. I want to draw. Now again, we've got a problem where if it doesn't continue, then we've got serious problems. So this one needs to go down, this one needs to go down, finally this one needs to go down. There we go. Alrighty. Camera cannot be rotated. Alright, so there's hidden puzzles, they can't be in the like. You don't have to rotate to find them. We could just do this, but then we've fucked up, right? Because we can't. But this one, I think that this one's definitely a square, and we've just got a 4 here, 4 here, a 4 here, and a 4 here. Then we'll get another 3 here. I know. There we go. Perfect. Beautiful. Easy enough so far. We haven't really come up with anything that's too challenging. It just requires like a little bit of thoughts, right? Box borders. The borders must always separate 2 different regions. Right, that makes sense. Right. So this and this, they have to be different. So we can color them in now. Let us think about this. Okay. So there's no way that this one can be the big border, right? So this one needs to go like this. This one needs to go like this. Yeah. So that's all right. Now for this one, we probably need a big gold square with like a little middle. There we go. We've done this one. Alright, we haven't done this one. It's hiding from us. So this one is either there's definitely like this. Because it's either like this or it's like this. Right? Then this one is a zigzag. No, it could not be a zigzag. It could also be, but either way it goes into this one, right? And this one comes out this way, then this one is a L. Now this one, this way, is not necessarily. This one comes out this way, this one comes out like that. Now this one cannot, it has to go that way. So let's seal that one off. This one can still go down, but if it goes down, then it can't, then there's nothing that can go here, right? So it goes right. And this one comes here. This one gets sealed off. This one comes here. This one comes here, and finally this one goes like that. There we go. So there's only actually 2 zigzag pieces in the entire puzzle. I think that this game is very relaxing. Definitely more relaxing than things that I typically play, right? Puzzles can always be solved by logic. Guessing is never required, right? So probably the best place to start okay, I think I figured it out already. I think it's just all L's. I'll show you. I was just looking at it and I was like, you can just solve this with all L's. Each puzzle has a single unique solution. I don't necessarily agree with that. I feel like there's puzzles that could have, but either way, we know that a 2 goes here, right? No, a 3 probably goes here, or a 2 goes here, a 2 goes here, and a 2 here. There we go. It's just all 2s, just like the other one. Okay. Do we have any secret puzzles that we can find? There's nothing down there, nothing around here. What's our puzzle count at? 9 out of 10 for overall puzzles in this area. I wonder if this one counts towards that. This area ahead has a vast collection of grass designs, but fear not, you need only complete a fraction of them to restore the windows. If ambition beckons, complete more glassworks to metallize the frames and reveal extra challenges. If you thoroughly master an area, fame will become gilded. Well, that's what we want to do. We want to gild frames. We've already got a gilded frame over here. So where does Glimmith Bridge end in this area start? That's the question. Can we find a little a secret 10th puzzle? Oh, there's one there, it looks like. But can we see it, or do we have to zoom in even more? You guys see it, right? Yeah. Can we get it? No? Yeah. But we can't zoom in anymore. And we can't obviously rotate the camera. already been told that the camera cannot rotate. So we just need to inch over this way until we actually see it. Or inch over this way. Kinda see it there. Barely. Nope. But I can see it. I know it exists. We just cannot get to it. And of course, the camera cannot be rotated. Might be a harder puzzle than the actual puzzles. Maybe if we zoom in. Oh, let's start on this one for now, we'll worry about this later. What does this say? Two regions touching the symbol must be different shapes. Well, this one has to be a 3. So these ones have to be lines. So if we were to do this, then this, and there we go, that's fine. These must be the same shape. Things? This is really the only way this works, right? So those are the same puzzles, just with different solutions because of the rule set. Deltas must be different shapes. So this one has to be a square. That's just the way it works. Can't be anything. So then these need to be 4 lines. This needs to be a 4 line. This has to be a 4 line. This has to be a 4 line. Now this has to be a square. This has to be a 4 line, but it has to be like this. This has to be a 4 line. This has to be a square, and finally, alrighty. So again, we're definitely getting into more complex things. 3 lines. Must be the same shape, right? How are we gonna, right, so we need a 4 line here, a 3 line here, 3 line here. Then we need square, we need 2 squares, 2 different squares. Then a 3 line, 3 line. It's difficult, right? It's getting more difficult. Each region contains exactly 1 of each symbol. So this one has to go down, then it has to go this way, then it has to go this way, right? This one does the same, and then finally this one goes across. Right, so we're getting into different rule sets now, just like Islands of Insight. There is different rule sets for each. So again, we need to get out. So getting out is a technique that's in like a lot of Sudokus and things like that, rule sets. Where, because symbols can't touch, you need to essentially be able to do this. Now this one is actually not a wall. This one comes here, does this one comes here, and then this one here. Now, this one can go up, but this one has to get out. This one now has to get out. Now, these ones, obviously, are squared off. So this one has to get out. This one has to get out. These ones are crossed. This one now has to get out. As well, as well, as well. Now, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one can't touch, so this one's finished. This one's finished as well. Then we've got this one go down this way, this one to go here, and it goes like this essentially. I could have probably explained that better, but you probably noticed it from the thing. You can press Q to flood an entire region with color. Right. So this one can't touch. Now, it also can't touch this way, and it has to go this way. Now this one needs to get out, needs to go this way, so we can just Q this one, right? And it'll flood it all. Now we do this, we've solved it. It's easy enough. Right. Again, we're gonna put in some blockers right away. This one now needs to get out. It could touch this blue, but I don't think it does, because if it did touch this blue, then it's gonna just touch this red, or this blue on the way out. This one now needs to go down and across. So this one does not touch this one. There, that's this one solved. We now need this one. Go this way. One to do the rest. Easy enough. Right, and then the rest is just cute. Like that. And, a single region can never. Right. I should have thought about that. So this one actually goes like this. Right? Is that not right? Why is this wrong? Ah, because that's the border as well. So this one goes like this. Ah, okay. I get it now. I get it. It does this. It's a yin-yang kind of thing. It will say it was harder, for sure. But, yeah, because this area is gonna confuse things as well, right? So, for example, this needs to come down. This needs to come down. So it's probably like that, for example. And this is like... Oh. Yes. Yeah, perfect, perfect. Alrighty, so I'm starting to get that like explanation for that down. Where you know, things can't touch on different sides of the wall. Now this one needs a green. Green also needs to come out. But if that's true, then red is stuck. The red needs to come, but red and green can't come together because this is actually, we need this red to come touch this blue. This blue also needs to come out. Then touch this yellow. This green now. This to come. This needs to come out this way. This needs to come out this way, right? Okay, perfect. This needs to come out. This yellow needs to be fine with it. This now green is coming out. Is that all the colors for this one? Blue, red, yellow, green. Alrighty. This one still needs to get a yellow. So that's correct. Now this one can get a red from here. I don't necessarily know if that's true. That's where it gets its red from, but in fact, it probably isn't, to be honest. This yellow needs to come out. It probably needs to get its blue from it. It probably needs to get its red from it. Like that. Gets its red from here. And red, yellow. Yellow, we're missing in green. And then finally this. That one was difficult, very difficult. But at least we solved it. I think I'm going to go back this way for a little bit, because these puzzles I'm enjoying more. These are different, right? So this needs to be a square, this needs to be a square, this needs to be that, this needs to be that. Now, these probably all need to be squares, right? And finally, yeah. Easy enough. Now, this one, we have to put a 3 in here. Now, Geminis are equal, so a 3 needs to go here, but a 2 needs to go here. Now, 2, 3, 2. Easy enough. We are slowly getting through this. I'm really enjoying the art style, as well as the like neatness of the music, right? While I'm here, I'm going to try and get to this here. Asshole again. Will you let me, or you'll just like? We're gonna move the camera to be able to see it appropriately. Be from like here, rocking the way. And when we zoom out, cannot see it very well. We go over here. If you can think of a way to be able to see that bad boy, let me know. Maybe from over this side. Not like we can zoom in any further. It would be right under here. You just poke our head through. I'm going to look at the controls. Music, sound, blah blah blah. Show errors. I don't want to show errors. Oh, I suppose I do. Now that I think about it. Alright, let's get back. I want to see if other puzzle creators managed to get that one. That's difficult. Well, let's start here, right? We need this to happen. Now this needs to be different. So this needs to happen. Now these need to be the same, so this needs to be down. Let's just create a little bit of walling off here. Not that I necessarily need to do that, but while I'm here. These need to be different, right? Yeah. Oh, these need to be the same. Different. There we go. Perfect. I was not talking there because I was thinking. Which, very difficult. Sometimes. Let's do this. Those are different now, right? So these need to be different. So this needs to be a 2 and then this needs to be a 3. Now this needs to be a 2, this needs to be a 3. But it needs to be like this, I think. Yeah. Now this needs to be a 3, this needs to be a 2, this needs to be a 3. This needs to be a 3 as well, so it needs to go up this way. This now needs to be a 2, so this one needs to be a 3. But not like that. That needs to be a 2. That needs to be a 2, that one needs to be a 2, and that needs to be a 3. Okay, perfect. Just a lot of necessarily like complicating things. Hopefully you can follow my logic. I'll try and make it a little bit more clear while I'm doing this one, right? So for example, let's look at this, right? We know that for these shapes, we need to do like this, or this, or this. And this one not be in it. Now, out of all of those options, this one here and this one here leave a 1 gap here. And we just don't have a 1 gap in our shape rotation. So we know it has to be the 3 because of that. So hopefully that's understandable. Now, all of these need to be equal to the 3. So let's look at this one. This one has to go this way, because if it went any other way, for example this way, it won't fit. So we know that this one goes this way. This one is now locked in, right? Now this one we don't know, and this one we also don't know. So let's go here. This one needs to be a 2, then this one needs to be a 2, right? Because they need to be equal. Now this one needs to come out, but if it was anything other than this shape here, we would have that same problem, where we're getting like one blocked off. So we know that this one goes this way, then we know that this one's equal, right? So this one now needs to come out, right? These ones are now equal, so this one has to go this way to make that the same shape. Now this one needs to go this way to make that same shape. Fair enough. Now these ones are all 3s. So this one needs to be a 3, this one needs a 3, and then we've solved it. Those needed to be 3s because they were equal. Easy enough. Now we've got all difference here. Now the big one that I'm wondering about is this one, right? Yeah. So we know that things here have to be different. This one can't be a square. It can't be, and it can't be one of these, right? It could, theoretically. In fact, I think that that's probably the truth because of the situation. So like that. Now these need to be different. So this one could, for example, be a 4. Then this one would have to be 1. Then that would have to be a 1. That would have to be a 1. That would have to be a 1, for example. Now these ones would need to be different from 1s. But it can't be. If there's that, then that. But then that one would be. So let's go back all the way to the start and think about this area for a second. This one has to be a dot, right? Because of the fact that like a 4 can't go here, or one of these. Because the roofs, these are did 2 different things. So this one has to be a dot. So let's block that one off. Then think about this one. It has to be either a square, which it can't be because of this, or a big square like this one, which it must have to be, right? Now, this area, we've only got 2. So this one has to be a dot, and this one has to be a dot. Now this one has to be different from this one. So it can't be a dot, and it can't be a square, because otherwise if it was a square, like this, it would interact with this one. So let's do a small square here. Let's block that one off, because we know it's truth. We also know that this one is the truth, this one's the truth. All of these are true so far. Now again, we've got an area up here where there only can be 1. There only can be 1 here as well. And there has to be, these 2 have to be different. So this one has to be a square like this. Now this one could be a dot, could also be a square. If we do a square, then this one has to be a dot, this one has to be a dot, and then this one has to be a dot. Those can't be the truth. So this one has to be a square. Now, this one has to be a dot as well. A dot, a dot, a dot, and a dot. There we go. Don't listen to me, I don't know what I'm talking about. I got that one entirely wrong. So what we know is that everything needs to come out for this one. So this one needs to come out, this one needs to come out, whoops. Then this one's a line, right? And this one now needs to come out. Now this one could theoretically come out again, but these are all the same shape. So this one we know has to come out again. Now this one has to come out again, but it's only 4 across. So this one needs to do this, So for them to be equal, this one actually needs to go this way. There we go. Which I could have figured out before. Now this one goes this way. Now it can't go immediately up. So it has to go this way. Yeah, that's true. The reason why it can't go immediately up is because this one would then close and this one can't be like that. So this one now probably has to go up. So we know that this is the shape. So this one now needs to go there and that one go there. And then we've got all four being the same shape. Right. Now these ones have to be different shape. But this one needs to come out. This one needs to come out. So this one now needs to come out. This one now needs to come out. Then this one needs to come out. This one needs to get this way. This one needs to get this way. This one needs to get this way. So those are all different shapes. Now, this one needs to be like this, or one more. It's probably better for it to be one more so we can do this, but then that doesn't work. So it's actually like this and then like this. There we go. What we're finding out is that these puzzles are definitely getting more hard, aren't they? So, gotta think more. Be on our feet. Right. So this could be like this, but then we would. There's simply no place for it, right? So this has to be a 2. Let's think about this for a second. This is a 2. Now, this is a 2. This is a 2. This is a 2. Great. All great so far, I think. This one needs to be a square. Now, this has to be a 2. This has to be a 2. Now, this one has to be a 2. But then this one has to be a square, right? If that one's a 2. Squares are basically impossible to do in this one. The reason why squares are basically impossible is because of just the way like a square works, right? It needs to be able to have a gap in it like this one. So for example, this would be a fine square. But if you look at this area, right? So I think that, just ignore me entirely, this one has to be like this. And then we've got the equals here. Let's reset this one. And think about this for a second, right? Because you can't have a square like this. You can't have a square like this. The reason why is because there's not a one single thing in it. And you cannot have a square any other way. So this one cannot be a square, it just cannot. This one here could be like this. Then this one will be a 2. This one will be a 2. This one will be a 2, and that's all fine. And this one, be a 2, be a 2, be a 2, be a 2, be. Then we're fucked. But I think that this is probably correct. It's just this one's wrong. So let's put this one in, and let's put this one in, this one, this one, this one, This one in. This one in. This one in. This one. This one in. This one. That one in. That one. That one in. That one. Now. Yeah, there we go. So it's mostly two, it's just one square hand. That one took a little bit more brain power than I'm typically used to in these types of game. Not that Island of Insight also doesn't require brain power, but you know. Twos, eh? So this one looks like it's going to be majority twos as well. This one can be a cross. Yeah, that's right. There we go. Easy enough. I say that when it's not easy at all. So again, what we know is that this one needs to come out. Now if it's not a square, like if it's not this shape here, then this one will just be a single line and that's not a shape. So we need this one to come out. This one now needs to be closed off, but these ones need to be equal, right? This one needs to be different. So this needs to be a 2, you know that for sure. And this one needs to be a 2, and we know that for sure. So now we think about crosses. The only way that this can be a cross is like this. But the only way that this can be a cross is like this. Now this one needs to be a 2. That's right. This one needs to be a 2 because you can't have the up. This one needs to be a 2. Now this one can be like this, but that's wrong. This one needs to be a cross, this one needs to be a 2, and that one is perfect. We've got our little Gemini and Delta unlock here, but let's keep on going. We want to see if we can get all of them if possible. 3 here, 3 here. We could do 3 here. This would need to be a 2 then, which doesn't work. So this one's actually a 3 here. This one's a 2. This one 2. This one. Now this one probably goes like that, and they're equal. This one's a 2. That one's a 2. Easy enough. Hopefully you followed that one. If not, what I'll do is this one as well, just do it manually so that you can see it. Yeah, what I've just done doesn't work. There's a couple of reasons why. Number one is that this one and this one have to be the same, right? They just have to be. That one has to be a dot, so that can't work. So let's work backwards from first principles, right? This one's a square, let's say. But then this one needs to be a dot, and this one needs to be a dot. That one needs to be a dot. This one needs to be a square, and that one needs to be a dot. Right? Now this one has to be a square. No, not a square, a dot. So we've got a whole bunch of dots that need dotted. Then we get the same problem here. So what we need is actually a dot here. Now we're putting a dot here. We can put a square here, and we can put a square here. That's fine. That's a dot. That's a square. That's a dot, and that's a square. Now these all have to be dots. Now if this one's a square, this one's a dot, this one's a dot, this one's a dot, and that one's a dot. There we go. Hopefully that was easy enough to understand. Now, remember that rule about these shapes, in that this, let's just draw this shape, right? So one, we don't have any shapes that are like this, and we don't have any shapes that are like this. So that's just wrong immediately. The other thing is that with these shapes, right, you need to be able to get into regions. So I actually think that this one is like this, then what? So if we do something like this, then you get this little dot as well. Okay, I see it now. Like this. And then these are squares. The rotational symmetry was not something that I had in mind right there. So squares all of this shape. Right. There we go. I would say that one was easy enough, but I kind of came into a fluke there. Alright. So we can just use colors to figure this one out, right? Now these have to be different. So this one either goes here, or it stays here. If this happens, then we know that this one is a 2. And if that happens, we know this one's a 3. This one's a 2. And this one's a 3. And this one's a 2. Now this one is a 3, which it can't be. So we either do something like this is the 3, this is the 2, but then again you can't do a 3 here. So this is probably the most important one to think of, right? Is that that's a 3, that's a 2, that's a 3, that's a 2, that's a 3, and this is a 2. That's a 2, that's a 2, that's a 3 probably. 2, 2, and then we're fucked down here. So this one has to be a 2. But now there's nothing that can get in here. So I do think that this one's probably correct. And this one, and this, and this one, this one, this one, alright, let's reset this one and actually think about it properly. So we know this for sure, 100%. We also know this for sure, 100%. Now let's think about this one, right? You've got two options, either like this, in which case it's a 2, or it's like this. Oh, let me just thank you and thank you. In which case it's a 3. Now, let's say that this is a 3. What's going on down here? This one also has to be a 3, and this one has to be a 2. Now this one has to be a 2. This one has to be a 3. This one has to be a 2. Now this one has to be a 3. Then this one has to be a 2. This one has to be a 2 because it just can't be anything else. This one needs to be a 3, and that one needs to be a 2. Now, all we've got is this area left, and again, we just do this. I was going to say, and again we effed, but we weren't. We weren't effed. Now, we know for a fact that this one does this. We don't know whether it goes here, or if it keeps on going down, but either way, it doesn't go this way. So we can block that one off. Now, this one has to go this way. Now, if this one went here, this one would have to go here and then here, right? And that would block this one off. So what we know now is that this one's like this, but then this one can't be unless it does that. This one needs to get out. Now, this one could be like this. Then this one would be like this, right? That's perfectly fine. Legal. Now, if this one did a cool zigzaggy, we would be... because it would go like that. But it also doesn't do this. So we've effed up somewhere. So let's go back to here and have a think. Because I think that these are both correct. But if this one, so if this one did a cool zigzag, let's think about that. Cannot do a zigzag. It needs to go like this. This one could go like this. This one to do a cool zigzag. Yeah, so this one can either go this way, right? Or this way. Which one of those is correct? That's a question I have to ask myself. Now this one has to go like this. So let's write that for now. Now if this one did this, for example, then this one would also do this, and we would have a blank there. So we know that this one does a cool zigzaggy. Let's do a cool zigzaggy over here, and a cool zigzaggy somewhere over here. Then this one does this, and then this one does this. And there we go. This one is probably the hardest one we've done so far. It is a 4-star, so we could just do a whole bunch of these things, right? Over here. And then like a whole bunch of these. Wow. Not exactly right. But close enough. So one of these is a cool ziggy. Which one is it? Where can we fit a cool ziggy? Probably do that for... There we go. But then this one's a 3. This one's a 3. And that one's a... But this one can be a cool ziggy. Then this one. Yeah, so this is a problem, right? If we did this. But we can't do a cool ziggy zaggy here, so this one must go like this, right? Now, this one needs to be a cool ziggy zaggy then. We can't go like this. So it must go like that. Now, this one will have to be like this, this, and this. But I think that this one is where the cool ziggy zaggy is. It can't be. But there needs to be a cool ziggy zaggy living somewhere in here. So that one also needs to. And if it doesn't go into here, so this one for sure is like this. Because once it gets here, then it's blocking off everything. So we know that. Let's start there for now. Right, now this needs to be a cool ziggy zaggy. So let's think about cool ziggy zaggy. There's one that way. Wrong. There's one this way. Probably right. So let's lock that one in. Now, this one needs to come out. Now, if this one goes up, then that's fine. This one can get. But we don't know that for sure. But this one definitely, because this one could come here, right? And that's fine too. So we'll leave it like that for now. And then we'll think about this one. So this one needs to come up as well. Then this one here could come up like this. In which case, I think that we're fucked. Because think about this one. This one needs to come out there with a blank bot here. So this one needs to at least come here, right? This one comes here, then we're also fucked. So this one is also a cool ziggy zaggy. Then we've only got room for a cool ziggy zaggy. So we had those cool ziggy zaggies right, I think. Now, does this one go here? If so, this one comes here. Then this one comes here. Now, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we need a cool ziggy zaggy somewhere. So let's think about where cool ziggy zaggy is fit. Did this theoretically be like a cool ziggy zaggy, for example? No, because then we've also need another cool ziggy zaggy to compensate, don't we? So we actually need 2 cool ziggy zaggies. We need something like this. Then we've got enough for that and that. But these have to be the same. So let's close off this one actually. Think about other areas for these. So again, we'll start from here. This one now needs to be a part of this one, otherwise it's out. And this one can no longer be a ziggy zaggy. So we'll close this one off. This one theoretically could be a cool ziggy zaggy. This one needs to be a shape. I'm going to put this in my notes. This needs to be an L shape. This one is an L shape as well. Okay. Yeah. Again, with cool ziggy zaggies, this one needs to be it. Then we've got 2 shapes for cool ziggy zaggies. We go this way, boring and bad, or this way. Cool does not block off anything. But we know that some of these need to be out. But then again needs to be, because if they were all ours, then we're F. We're missing one. At least one calls a gizzy, and then at least one calls a gizzy. So it all has to be calls a gizzy up here. But do they necessarily need to be in that order? Yeah. I do think it does, to be honest, and I don't actually think it matters too much, because these are all on the same side of the fence. Just a matter of where we put these owls in. Now this could theoretically go like this, right? And this would theoretically go like this. This would theoretically go like this. But then we always have the same problem, but we don't have enough these. So for example, this one could be one. And this, thank you. And then this could be one. There we go. We figured it out. It was just the outside edge, now that we think about it. Let's do this one down here. So this one has to be a square. We know that for certain. Now, 4 squares, they have to be like this, right? Those ones. Now, this one has to come out. This one needs to come out. This one could come out. But then we're effed. So I think that this one stops at 3. This one has to go this way. It has to at least go 3. Then it can't go anymore, otherwise it's going to smack into that wall. Right. Then that one does that. This one, then this way. Those ones at least do that. This one could be another square. This one down. This one has to do that. Actually, this one does come 5. Then we've got a little square over here that we just fill in. This one probably goes 5. This one probably goes 5. Got a little square over here. Perfect. Nice and pretty. Whew. Okay. Now, where's a probably good space to start? I think here. This one can't be a 3. This one or this one. So what we know is that this is an outfit, which I'll just write. That's coloring. This one is an L shape. So this one is also an L shape. So we put this one in here. We know that it at least has to go into the square, right? These two are the same. That's because of the way that corners work, right? If you draw an L like this, it will go like that. And if you draw like an L like this, it will go like that. But I just realized that we could also do this. So ignore me entirely. Now this one, for example, is interesting. If it goes that way, then that's that. If it goes that way, then that's that. And if it goes straight, then that's fine. But this needs to be different, and it can't be, because then we've got no shapes. So I think that this one has to be a part of this one. But my logic might be flawed. feel like this one needs to do this in this case. So this needs to also be an L. Now this one probably does that. I'm gonna seal these off. This one has to do an L, but this one has to do a straight. Those are all fine so far. Now we do a that there, we do a straight there, and an L there, then we're done. You think that sometimes, like with these puzzles, your brain works very hard? Let's find, you know, that like a little bit of a sore head after them. Not this one, though. This one, like this particular puzzle, rather well. We're just like doing the obvious things so far, and it seems to be working out for us. Now, this. Okay. Got a super annoying one, but let's just start at the start. Work our way. So those are all just book moves, right? They're like chess. You have to do them for the puzzle to even start. This is also a book move, for example. This is also a book move. If you don't know why they're book moves, I'll explain in a little bit. So for example, look at this one here, right? We had these two lines right here. Now, we couldn't do an L shape in this one because there's just no way for an L shape to fit. So you think about like this, for example, or like this, you'd just go through the wall. The only way an L shape could be there is there, and then you'll block off this one. This has to be a 3-line. This one can't smack into this one because it's not the same shape. So it has to go this way. This one has to go that way. This is simple-ish. And then these are all standard moves. There's one here that we haven't done yet. So this one needs to come out. But it could be either one of the shapes. This one needs to come out. Again, it could be either one of the shapes, but it has to go up here. Now, this one has to come out. It could be either one of the shapes, but not really. This one actually has to be an L. So this one then needs to be a Z. Like this. Now this one has to be a Z. Like that. Well, not necessarily like that, but that's what we're doing with it. Now this one has to be an L. Now, it can't be like this. Those are fairly book. These are also fairly book. Now this one needs to come out. Now, if it was a Z, it'd be like that. Fine. This one could also be a Z. And this one would be a happy face and a happy face, and then we're done. Now, are we missing any? Yes, we are. And I can see this one here. Ooh. Alrighty. So this one needs to come out. It can't be a 4, so it needs to be a 3. That's locked. So this one needs to be a 4. That's now locked. This one needs to be a 4, but it can't go this way, so, because it would hit into this. So it needs to come this way. That's locked. Now, this is also locked. This needs to come out. This is now locked. This needs to come this way, and it needs to go at least one more, so we know that. This is also locked. This is not necessarily locked, but now if this here was a 3, that's fine. It's this one here that this one's now locked, that one's now locked. This one needs to come out, needs to go to there, then that needs to be equal, right? This one also needs to come out, be equal, so that one is set in. This one also needs to come out, be equal, it's now set in as well. Now this one needs to come out. This one is a little bit interesting, right? Both of these need to go up, because if they went sideways, then we'd be fucked. That would only be too long. So this one needs to be at least 3, and this one needs to be at least 3, but they can't be. One has to be 4, one has to be 3. They have to be different. So let's lock them in like this, but we don't know exactly which one continues going or not. Now let's think about this one. So we've got either this is a 3 or this is a 3. Either one seems to be fine. Now if this is a 3, then this would also go like this. At least be like this. Now that one would then need to be up, but then these would be the same. This one would need to be at least a 4. That one would need to be at least a 4. Like that would be fine. And that one would need to be a 4. That one would need to be a 3. That one would need to be a 3. This one would need to be a 3. That one would need to be a 3. That one would need to be a 3. And a 4 and a 4. And that's all fine. Let's finally finish off this one. Challenge ahead. Difficulty 5 to 6 puzzles are very challenging. They may require careful logic, advanced techniques, and lots of persistence. Early breaking steps may be difficult to start. These puzzles are optional, feel free to come back to it if you get stuck. Let's have a look. This corner here is really where I want to start, because we know that either way, this is true. Now, this one can't go here, so this is a wall. This one can't go here, so this is a wall. It can't be a 3x3. If it was a 3x3, I'll just show you. Then this one would have nowhere to go. It'd be stuck. So what we know is that it's either a 2x2, but it can't go again this way because again this one will be stuck. But it could be a 2x2. I mean a 3x2 this way. That's fine. But what we know is that it doesn't go this way. So we can lock those in. Now this one has to also go this way. So these are stuck. It can't go that way. And it could again go down, but it can't be big. So we know that this one at least does this. There we go. So that one is locked in, but not necessarily. But we know it doesn't go over here. That one can. Now, again, we don't know what is happening up here. This one could be brown and it's fine. This one could be pink and it's fine. Let's just try it at pink. so then these would need to be blue. And those would all be locked in. Now, if this one is a 3, yeah, that's fine. Let me just put this in, I'll show you. This one could be this, and then this one could be this. Those are all perfectly fine. I don't see any problems with either one of them. This one could be like this. Again, perfectly fine. I again have no problems with this. And then this one could be like this. It can't be a big one because of the sequels. So those would have to be locked in like that. This one has to be different. So this one could be like this, or it could just be like this. Either way, we're fucked. So this is not the right solution. Because of this one, right? Unless then we've got this problem here. So we know that this is all wrong. So let's just reset it. So we were here, and we were here. And then we were here. So let's lock these in as 4. So this one is a 4. And this one can't go this way. I still quite like this one being a 3. I don't know why. Something seems satisfying about me to it. But then this one needs to be different again. Fine. It can be just like this. This one can be like this. Be like this. And this one has to be like this. This one has to be like this. And then looking nicer already. And then this one can be like this. Ah, again, we've got that same problem. So I feel like what we've learned is that this one has to be a square. Doesn't really matter what the other ones are, but this one has to be a square. Then we can follow our same logic from earlier, where this one is this square and this one is this square, right? But we don't necessarily know if they continue to be or not. They could be 3s, they could be 2s, but we know that this one has to be a 2. If they were 3s, we would have this. This one would then be a 2, and this one could be like a 6. This one is a get out of here. There we go. Perfect, thank you. Then this one would be this. Well, that's a problem, isn't it? I think that the main problem is this area. of that. So let's put this one in, then let's put this one. This one needs to... This one close off. This one needs to close off, probably. It is a tricky one, isn't it? And we've got this problem. Right. Let's come back to this one in a second. Let's try this one. Nothing from me. This one's 5, so it's probably easier. We can already tell that this one does this. It just has to. Oh, it could end here, theoretically. It could do this. Where is one? Here's one. This one could be a 2. Could be a 3, 4, 5, however. If it is this, then this one has to be a 2. And this one probably has to be a 3. This one probably has to be a 5. This one probably has to be a 3. This one probably has to be a 5. 3, 5, 5, 3. 2. There we go. Those are different. Let's try this around here. Is that. So far I haven't fucked up. This is a 2. This is a 3. Let's reset. Let's think about this. So it is that. Right, if we've got a 2 here, we need that to be a 2. It just has to be. And this one has to be a 3. So if this one's a 3, then that one has to be like that, right? This one has to be a 2. That one has to be a 2. This one could be a 5, that's fine. That one would have to be a 2 though. That one would have to be a 2. Now this one could be a 5. That's fine. If that's a 5, that one's a 5. And if that one's a 5, then we're fucked. Because this one cannot be a 5. So let's get rid of these. And think about this as a 2. If that's a 2, then this one also has to be a 2, which is already effed. So we need to think about if this one's a 2, then this one must be a 2 as well. This one has to be a 2 as well. This one has to be a 2. Then this one needs to be a 2. Then this one needs to be a 2. 2. I wonder when our first non-2 is. So far we haven't had one. Yeah. Yeah. Rid of that one. There. 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 This one could not be a 2. There we go. It has to not be a 2. Again, we have a 3 here, but we could also have a 2 here, which is more fun. Now we could have a 2 here, or a 3. If we have a 2 here, then we have a 2 here. That's fine. But what we really need is this. This, yeah. Now we need this to be actually longer, like that. This one has to be a 2. This one has to be a 3, like that. So that's fine. Because that makes everything happy. Now this one has to be the same. So it has to be like this, probably. This way. Can't go this way, 'cause these are pointing at the same ones, so these two have to be different. We could just start from the middle here, because let's look at this, right? This one has to go here and here. Now, that's fine if it's a 2. But this one, because these shapes need to be different. This is fine, for example. Because that would be legal. But then this one would be like this, and that's just impossible. But it can't be the same shape. So this one could be like this, I guess. In which case, this would have to be a 2. And this one have to go like this. This one go like this. Which would also not work because we've got this problem. Is there a way to get rid of that problem? Yes, there is. There is indeed a way to get rid of that. This one. Let's get rid of that problem. I've given up. Oh, I'm so stumped. Let's think about these two need to be different. So if this is the case, then that's a problem, because this will need to be this. And we can't draw that any other way. So this one needs to be the big L. Now it can't go that way, so it has to go that way. That needs to be a 2. So we know that there's a dot here. This is locked in. Now, this one needs to be an L. There's 2 ways to draw that. Like either like this, which is fine, or it's like this, which we've already tried and it's not fine. So let's lock it in like this. Now this one is also needs to be an L. Now there is only one way to draw that, like that. Now this one needs to get out, that one needs to lock in. That one needs to be a 3. The only way to draw a 3 like that is like that. Now this one needs to get out. Now this one has to be different, so it has to lock in like that. So this one all needs to be the same. That's a lock. That's a lock. Now these have to be different. So this needs to be a 2. That needs to be a 2. Those are all fine. So that needs to be a 2. That needs to be. That's all fine. Now this one here needs to be different as well. So this needs to be a 2. That's locked in. Now, this one can't be a 3, has to be a 2. This one then needs to have to be a 2. Then we've got a 3 and a 2 in this area. We've got a 3 that goes like this and a 2 that goes like that, or the opposite. If it's the opposite, if it's this, then this one needs to be a 3. Which seems to be fine. This one also needs to be a weird shape. So let's think about that for a second. So I think that this is probably the right answer just because of that weird shape. So we need this to be a 2. Because that way it can't be anywhere else. This one needs to then be a 3. Then this one needs to be a 2. Then this one needs to be a 2. That's all fine. That needs to be a 2. Then this one is the only one that we've got left, and we are. So where can we put a 3? Because we need another 3, or we need another 5. This one can be the 5. There we go. We're locked in. Alrighty. Okay, let's not think about the 6 for now, but at least I finished a hard puzzle. We will come back to Artisans of Glimmith in the next episode. But for now, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed yourself, make sure to press like or comment or subscribe. And in the meantime, have a wonderful rest of your day. See you.